Welcome back, children. This is our fourth video for chapter 2, periodic classification of elements. And after studying Mendeleev's periodic table, today we are going to study the modern periodic table. So far we have seen that all the three scientists, Dobereiner, Newland and Mendeleev, they all considered atomic mass to be the most fundamental property of elements. But now we have another scientist here, Henry Moseley. And Henry Moseley demonstrated that the number of electrons were equal to the number of protons, which is actually equal to the atomic number. And this revealed that atomic number and not atomic mass is the fundamental property of elements. And this solved all the problems that Mendeleev's periodic table faced, because actually if you see, it's the atomic number which gives distinctive characteristic to each element. The moment atomic number changes even by 1, the element ceases to be that element and it is the next element. For example, carbon 6 atomic number, if it becomes 7 atomic number, it becomes nitrogen. Okay, so each element has specific characteristics depending on their atomic number. And this solved many of the problems that the earlier scientists were facing. And therefore, the modern periodic law states, this can be asked as definition, properties of elements are periodic function of their atomic number. Okay, the modern periodic law states that the atomic number is important. Okay, unlike Mendeleev's. If you remember, Mendeleev's periodic law stated properties of elements are periodic function of their atomic mass. Okay, but here in the modern periodic law, the same statement is there, only the last word changes. So for true or false, you have to be a little alert. When you say modern, it is atomic number. When you say Mendeleev's, it becomes atomic mass. Okay, so now henceforth atomic number will be the main characteristic feature on which all classifications will be based. So properties of elements are periodic function of their atomic number. Now this modern periodic table had vertical columns and horizontal rows just like Mendeleev, but now the numbers were increased because the elements discovered were also much more. During Mendeleev's time, we had 63 known elements. Now there were 118 known elements. And once the atomic number became the major criteria for classification, everything fell in its place. Okay, so therefore here now we have 18 groups, 18 columns. Columns are called groups and 7 horizontal rows. Rows are called periods, same like in Mendeleev's. Now there are 7 major rows and 2 rows are shown separately at the bottom of the periodic table. But we say there are 7 rows, not 9 rows. Okay, 7 rows and 2 are shown separately at the bottom of the periodic table. These are lanthanide and actinide series. Okay, these are heavy elements. I will show you in the periodic table why we do not consider these two as separate rows. Though we mentioned there are 7 rows, 18 columns. Okay, so 18 groups and 7 rows. Though you will see 2 more extra rows at the bottom. They actually belong to lanthanide and actinide series. So total there are 118 known elements today. And therefore there are 118 boxes in the periodic table. Now here if you look carefully, you find all the 18 groups. So 1, 2, then you have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18. The 18th one, if you see helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon. Okay, these are the noble gases which we used to call them as a zero group. They are still called as zero group elements also. Okay, now looking at the rows, we have 1 row, 2, 3, this entire thing of course. This is 2nd row, 3rd row, 4th period, 5th, 6th and 7th period. Okay, now if you look carefully, you will find that there is a star here and a hash here. Okay, a hashtag over here, and these are actually brought down here. Okay, their actual place is here, and therefore we say 7 periods. Okay, because the actual period is in this box here, because their properties resemble to this box over here, and therefore we say we have 18 groups and 7 periods. Okay, 2 separate lanthanide and actinide series are shown below. Now, talking about the structure of this modern periodic table, it can be divided into blocks. Okay, 4 major blocks. You must have eaten SPDP, but here it's not DP, here it is S block, then you have P block, then you have D block, and you have the F block here. Okay, so you have S, P, D, F. When you say S, look at the left. When you say P, look at the right. When you say D, look in the center. And when you say F, look out for it at the bottom. So S, P, D, F blocks. Now talking about these blocks, the S block is to the left of the periodic table, while the P block is to the right of the periodic table. To the left, the S block are mainly metals. Okay, then to the right we have mainly non-metals, including metalloids also. Then we have D block in the center. Okay, these are in between, transitory elements they are called, because they are neither metals, not totally showing metallic property nor totally showing non-metallic property, transitory. Okay, they are transitory elements. And then we have the F block at the bottom. Okay, the lanthanide and actinide series. So this is, the metalloids are placed in a zigzag manner here. If you look at this picture, you find all these boron, silicon, germanium, astatine, strontium, tellurium, astatine. Okay, these are all the metalloids. That is, they have properties of both metals as well as non-metals. What you notice is here the metallic properties are more, and as they come this side, the metallic property decreases. Then they become metalloids, and then they become non-metals. Okay, they don't become, but the placement of the elements are such that here we have all mostly metals. Then you have a line segregating the non-metals from metals with the help of metalloids. Okay, so this is a zigzag line specially for the metalloids. Now once again talking about the SPDF blocks, this can be asked like for true or false or objectives. S block is to the left. They contain group 1 and 2 elements here, 1 and 2. Okay, so 1 and 2 come under S block. What about P block? They include 13 to 18. What about D block? They include 3 to 12. And F block includes lanthanide and actinide series. Okay, and their placement is also mentioned here. This is an important part. So S block to the left contain group 1 and 2 elements. Okay, they are all metals. P block is to the right. They contain 13 to 18 groups. They are all non-metals. There is a zigzag line that can be drawn in this P block. Okay, those are all metalloids, and they lie in a zigzag fashion, bordering metals and separating metals from non-metals. D block are to the center. They contain 3 to 12 groups. These are all transition elements, transition. And F block are at the bottom, which are lanthanide and actinide series. Okay, so we stop here because that's the major structure of the modern periodic table. After this, we will study modern periodic table in detail with the help of various other properties like its electronic configuration, valency and all that. But till then, keep studying. Bye-bye. God bless.